What's going on, movie friends? This is Tommy Knock, the movie guy, coming at you. Continuing the Corners Report, Could They Have Lived series. Today's video, Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, an ultimate cult classic, probably the black sheep of the franchise. I'm going to count 19 kills for this movie. I'm not including the two guys in the dream sequence with Tommy in the beginning of the movie. And obviously, I'm not including Pam and the hallucination at the end. So, 19 kills total, guys. Yeah, this ragtag group of characters that you just threw together for a kill count. Talk about the island of misfit toys. But the survey question, guys, is which character of this movie would you save?
Which character from A New Beginning would you save?
Now, I'm not shocked that Demon ended up winning. He's a very popular character. I'm a little shocked that Violet got more points than Tina. Guys love Violet. I hear it on the social media sites, the Friday the 13th group pages, my community page with the surveys. The guys love Violet. Not my type. Not my cup of tea. But Tina, I'm just overall surprised that Violet got more points than Tina. But Demon, and Ethel's pretty popular too, but not as popular as Demon, a very popular character in the franchise, and a very sad death. But we will get to Demon later, guys. Let's get to it. Could they have lived? We got to start with the one that started it all, Joey. Oh, that was a nice little gesture, a little chocolate bar. Gonna bring a little chocolate bar to heaven with him. Yeah, sad death, Vic. Why did he have the wood chopping job? You give that guy the axe job. But anyway, he obviously doesn't like chocolate bars. Took out his frustrations out on Joey with the axe, cutting him all up. His arm is just... Sorry, guys. Sorry, Joey. This is a obvious X. This is what started it all. Should you just kept your chocolate bar to yourself and your comments. Vic, you were out of line. You committed murder. That's pretty out of line. Next, the two greasers. They're even called greasers in their Corners report. Greasers in the... Actually, this is taking place in 1989. Timeline-wise, guys. Not the actual movie. I believe it's supposed to be 1989 timeline-wise. I believe. Could be wrong on that one. But two greasers, Pete and Vinny are their names. You get the road flare. I love the road flare kill. Very original. Having a road flare in your mouth. We're going to go ahead and say X for that one. And the other guy, Pete, throat cut, gets in the car, gets the famous machete to the throat. But depending how... I always go with the throat machete kills, guys. It depends how deep it is and the scene. I'm going to go ahead and say that he could possibly live and not bleed out. So we're going to go ahead and say check for Pete. Next, we're going to go with the Wanderer guy, Raymond. Just, again, this is what I'm talking about, with just characters written in just to have a kill count. No substance, nothing. This guy's walking around this area looking for a job, looking for... This scene with him and Ethel seemed like a start of a porno. It's like looking for a job, and she's like, well, I got some jobs you can have. But no, Wanderer Raymond is watching Tina and Eddie getting it on, can't blame him. But he gets a knife in the gut. We're going to obviously say that he could have lived. Next, let's talk about Eddie and Tina as a whole.
Eddie.
Okay. Pretty cool kills. Again,
chance.
Another one of these watered down kills movies with the MPAA. You don't see a whole lot, a lot of off-screen stuff. Tina gets the garden shears in the eyes. Awesome kill. That's definitely an X. And if she did live, why would you want to live through that? But no, too much trauma in the eyes with the garden shears. Just the snap noise. You could just... Eddie, on the other hand, this one was hard. I didn't know what to... Depending how strong the other guy could be, Eddie getting his head strapped to the tree with a leather strap, I'm going to go ahead and say he would have a hell of a headache. He might have some brain damage, some trauma to the brain. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and say a check for Eddie that he could have lived through that. Next, we're going to talk about Lana and Billy. Lana, the waitress. It's showtime. Oh, yeah, it's showtime, all right. Lana gets an axe to the gut. A lot of blood loss, but people have lived through crazier things, guys. We're going to go ahead and say check. Lana could have lived. Billy, he was the van driver earlier from Pinehurst. He gets extracurricular activities. You know, it's raining. It's snowing there in his car with the powder stuff. Billy gets an axe to the head right on his bald spot. I love that. Almost similar to the security guard in Halloween 2. You got a hammer right to the bald spot. Billy, an axe to the back of the head, the bald spot. We're going to go ahead and say X for Billy. Next, we're going to talk about George. He is the grandpa of Reggie and Demon. He's also the camp cook. I should say the camp cook. The cook at Pinehurst. And I'm going to go ahead and say he probably got the garden shears again. Very consistent, you know. Roy probably really enjoyed the Tina death so much that he grabbed those garden shears once again to go after George. Again, we're going to go ahead and say X, that George could not have lived through that. Ethel. Let's talk about Ethel. Good old Ethel Jr.
Junior, come eat your stew!
Junior is dead. Can I have some stew?
Please, mister. I just love Mama's stew.
Oh my god, that was so cute. It was like a little tiny Junior. Maybe Ethel's the grandma and Junior. No, that's not. Let's start with Ethel. Cleaver to the head. Now she was checking on Junior, getting his stew ready for him to come in. She thought it was him. But no, it gets a good old meat cleaver to the head. We're going to go ahead and say that Ethel could have lived through that one, guys. Junior, on the other hand, after getting his ass handed to him by Tommy, Junior gets a decapitation. Pretty cool kill on his bike. Just perfectly timed by Roy. Just perfectly timed. Junior, decapitation, obvious X. Next, let's talk about Duke. He was the other EMT driver, ambulance driver, with Roy. Not a very caring, compassionate man. Gets a boring off-screen kill. And look at this. We can't tell. I guess it's another throat cut kill. I don't even see a cut. So, could be a question mark, but we're going to go ahead and say Duke could have lived through that. Next, the stutterer, Jake. Cleaver. Again, another consistent death, similar to Ethel's. He gets a meat cleaver to the head. So we're going to go ahead and say that he could have lived just like Ethel. Even though, yes, we see his body later on. We know that. Talking about the initial strike. Robin. A lot of guys like Robin too. The redhead. Nothing wrong with gingers. Robin kind of felt bad for Jake though. You know, the stutter, he's trying to come on to Robin and she wasn't having it. Then again, it's better than leading him on, right? But Robin gets the machete in the back, the famous bed kill. We love those ones. That goes in pretty damn deep. Robin could not have lived through that. Next, let's talk about the most popular girl in this movie. Apparently to you guys, I thought it would be Tina, but let's talk about Violet.
There's a man with no life in his eyes, there with no life in his eyes.
Who are you?
Yeah, so Violet, it's a boring kill, as most of these kills are. Her original kill was supposed to be stabbed downstairs. But that was going to be an X rating, so it said no to that. So instead, we just get another machete stab into the gut. With gut stabs, guys, unless you see intestines coming out and tons of blood, we're going to say Violet. That's right, guys. Violet could live. So there you go. Your crush lives. Matthew Letter. Yes, the guy who ran Pinehurst. The guy who I'm surprised even had a job at the end of this movie. Well, he didn't have a job at the end of this movie. What Pinehurst was even investigated, guys. The cops didn't even question anything. But anyway, Matthew gets a spike in the head. Another off-screen kill, though. Look at these. Matthew, that would have been a cool kill. George, would have been a cool kill. Maybe we see the garden shears again. Duke. Just too many. You have all these characters and all these numbers of kills, but when they're off-screen kills like this, who cares? I don't know. I'm being too hard on it. I know. But Matthew gets a spike in the head on the tree. We're going to go ahead and say that's an X. Next, let's talk about one of the most popular characters in this movie and in the whole franchise. You voted for him to live. If you could save him, Demon.
My name is Demon, and I died on the toilet. Oh well. Enchilada time!
I can relate. Not dying on a toilet relate. I can irritable bowel syndrome relate to Demon. Mexican food, depending on how much is in it, doesn't agree with me at times. And sometimes you don't have a choice what bathroom you go into, guys, right? You've been into a Walmart bathroom? Have you been into a Walmart bathroom? Yeah, it's pretty gross, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Demon gets a pole, a spear, some type of thing through his stomach, all the way through. Death on the toilet, guys. Gross. Demon, we hardly knew you. Demon and the grandfather died. I feel bad for Reggie, He's just trying to get away for the summer, do a good thing, spend time with his grandpa, and then his brother and his grandfather died because of a chocolate bar. All right. Next, and then Anita, his girlfriend, another off-screen kill and another throat cut. But damn, that one's pretty deep in there, guys. That one's a pretty gnarly throat cut. Definitely would have bleed out. Anita, sorry. Demon and Anita are in heaven together on the toilet. And the last, that's right, guys. Let's talk about the killer in this movie, Roy Burns.
Joey, I'm coming home, my boy.
That's the killer, guys. That's the story we get, is the Roy Burns, the ambulance driver, the EMT, who's the father of Joy, this deadbeat dad. What an interesting story. It's Friday the 13th, A New Beginning is so wacky. It is the black sheep, but it is entertaining. It's fun. Roy dies by falling on spikes. Why is there spikes like that laying there in front of a barn? Just laying there for anybody just to fall on. This is Pinehurst, guys. This is the barn where Pinehurst is. This is where youth, kids, are staying at. And you have a bed of spikes laying there for God knows what. Roy. And I was so disappointed in Tommy. Where did his karate skills go? Anyway, Roy falls on spikes to his death. No way could he have lived through that one. That's an X. So, after calculating these 19 kills, we have 11 that could not have made it, 8 that could have made it, which gives this a death count percentage, guys. We're going to do a death percentage now. It is 58% that these characters, of the 19 characters, could have died. Impressive kill count, Roy. Very impressive kill count to keep up with Jason. Good lord. Kind of made Jason look bad, and if you think about it. But a lot of these are just watered down, boring, off-screen kills, but that's not the point. The point is, could they have lived or not? Well, 58% could not have lived, but that's a lot that could have lived, guys, because a lot of throat cuts, a lot of off-screen stuff, so there you have it. Please like and subscribe. Stab that notification bell. See you soon.